Hello, dear listener, dear viewer. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I'm the host of this show, this podcast, Mogobe's Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. I always strive to bring new and exciting content to you. Today, I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence. This is the subject as it relates to the workplace. So, I'm going to talk to you about emotional intelligence in the workplace, otherwise known as EQ. Quite often people are more interested in IQ than EQ, but what is being found increasingly by employers and others is that if you do not have emotional intelligence, you cannot survive for very long in the current in the modern day workplace. You know that the great leadership expert John Maxwell says that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So similarly, people don't care how much intelligence you have until and unless they know that you have emotional intelligence. After all, in Setswana we say that maiteo na mani amoroba. So we attach a lot of importance to how you talk to people, how you behave towards people, more than as to your level of education. You could have a PhD, for all people care. But here are the top 10 nuggets of wisdom on that subject. Number one, you strive, if you're emotionally intelligent, you strive to control and regulate your thoughts and your thinking and your ideas. You are able to control them so that you can be an observer as and when you develop those ideas. Number two, you learn to benefit from negative criticism. Often when we're criticized negatively, we cut off those people, or we tend to dislike those people. But if you're emotionally intelligent, you start looking at the criticism and see whether there's some good or there's some positive elements that can be picked from that criticism, make the most of it. Of course, you can't do much about the haters and the naysayers, so you are careful to pick what is useful from the negative criticism. Number three, all human beings appreciate praise. So if you're emotionally intelligent, you learn how to praise people, how to continually pat people on the back, how to raise people's moods and that sort of thing. So it's a very important skill to have for that reason. Number four, you think and learn how to regulate and manage your feelings. You regulate your feelings and you have a situation where your feelings are not in control of you, rather you are in control of your feelings. So that is the most important part of emotional intelligence. You are less likely to be angry. You'll know that the emotion, the go-to emotion for most people is anger. Recently, when I attended a presentation by Setshwaelo and Key Wealth are a group that specializes in this sort of thing. The emphasis was on dealing with the anger emotion and managing it. Number five, you become quick to apologize. If you're emotionally intelligent, you learn the importance of a quick apology. You analyze the situation and you take responsibility quickly for any mistakes that you could have taken. You become responsible. In other words, you are able to respond in a regulated, in a calm fashion. So your level of responsibility rises. Number six, your word becomes your bond. In fact, your word becomes law. You take what you're saying seriously and you are careful. If you're emotionally intelligent, you are careful not to raise false expectations, and you ensure that something that you say you deliver, you actually do deliver. Number seven, you avoid emotional sabotage. How many times have people gone against their own best interests by uttering something or blurting out something that steps on people's toes? Sometimes they're employers, sometimes they're significant others, sometimes even people who are senior to them in the workplace. So my point is that you are skillful at avoiding emotional sabotage. You quickly avoid tendencies where you act against your own best interests, because you're an observer and you take the time, as Eckhart Tolle said in his book, The Power of Now. You are able to now analyze whatever it is you are doing and actively and consciously respond to the situation. Number eight, you learn to empathize. In other words, you are better able to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand how they feel, how they think, and you are better able to deal with situations as and when they arise. So it's very important how to learn how to empathize. Notice, I'm not saying to sympathize, I'm saying to empathize, and there is a big difference between the two. Number nine, you learn to refrain. the situation. In other words, you become an inverse paranoid. And this is something that Jack Canfield talks about in his book about success, the principles of success. And the emphasis here is that you become an inverse paranoid. When situations develop, when matters are discussed, you learn how to interpret things in the best possible light so that you can benefit maximally from it. You're not quick to jump to negative conclusions about things. Number 10, you avoid jumping to conclusions. This is important. I'm repeating this aspect again because you are better able to regulate and to suppress negative emotions, and you accentuate and elevate positive emotions. And this you can only do through a conscious and deliberate process of mastering your feelings. Number 11, I always give you a bonus, dear listener. This is the number 11 reason why it is important to be emotionally intelligent and to learn as much as you can about emotional intelligence so that you can master your feelings and deal with your relationships from a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness. Number 11, you raise your level of maturity, and you raise the level of maturity of your relationships in the process. You have much richer relationships, you have less shallow relationships, and your chances of success in life in general are enhanced. Whether we're talking about church, whether we're talking about work, whether you're talking about home, and wherever else in recreational activities or other settings, if you're emotionally mature and you regulate your emotions because you're emotionally intelligent, you are better able to succeed. And in this regard, let me make a shameless plug about my friend at Key Wealth, Mr. Mogomotsi France. He's an expert in this field. Him working together with the Setshwaelo, we're able to bring this to the fore. And if you're someone who's in a setting where you are in control, by that I mean you are a senior employee or you are in charge of a CFO or something, I would strongly advise you to channel the resources towards a Key Wealth or a similar organization where you can teach your staff and your people on emotional intelligence. The feedback that I'm getting from my staff is that the emotional intelligence teaching has been more than powerful, has been more than beneficial to them. And now in conclusion, let me urge you and ask you, dear listener and dear viewer, to like what you're hearing, and much more importantly, to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Until next time, this is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe signing off.